we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Leominster Conservation Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, February 14th, 2023, Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, everyone. My name is Nick Kremp, and I'm the conservation agent for the city of Leominster. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone, if you have any devices on you, to please put them on silent so we don't have any interruptions at the hearings later. And with that, I'll take a roll of the commission present. Mike Seekey, present. Stephanie Quinlan,
present.
Richard Gullick,
present.
And Chuck Raymond.
Here.
And absent are Ken Ridlin and Jim Chambers, with maybe Ken joining us late, so we'll see.
Okay.
With that, I'll hand it off to the chairman, Chuck Raymond.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And just to reiterate what Nick said, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I'm sure you're very happy to be here. We love you all, so thank you for joining us on our Valentine's Day as well.
Thank our partners.
I was going to bring chocolates, but my wife said, no, they'll think you're bribing them.
I was going to bring extra brownies, but I didn't have enough if Ken or Jim came. I regret not bringing it before I had.
Oh, well, that's all right.
It's about that counts.
Another day.
Nick, is there anything under public comments that was not on the agenda?
If anyone is here that wants to say anything, but not that I know of, no.
Okay. Moving on, then, under new hearings, I'll go ahead and read it into the record. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent for paving a driveway, and this is after the fact, right?
Yes.
Yeah, after the fact, for paving a driveway and machine work to clear brush in the riverfront area. Address 871 Pleasant Street, map and parcel 396-1B. DEP file number 199-1167. There's Jim.
Welcome, Jim. Mr. Mangicotti, if you want to explain to the commission how, in your words, how we got here today, the work you were doing.
Dear friend of mine, I know him for over 50 years. He owned that house. He built that house. He died in that house. He left the house to St. Anne's Church. And I was the only one that would give St. Anne's Church what they wanted. So I bought the house from the church. And I slowly just cleaned it up. It was just mainly cleaning it up, and that's what I was doing. I wasn't aware that you needed a permit to put in a blacktop driveway. And I should have thought that the guy that put it in would have known that. But there was no, it wasn't done deliberately. It was done because I didn't know it, because I've been in the city a long time and I just came in. And all I want to do now is finish cleaning it up. There's some trees that were rotten and dead that Bobby cut, but he never did with them. It's got a beautiful waterfall on it, and I want to preserve the waterfall. And if you go by, you see how nice I've cleaned it up. I've stayed in the house a couple of times.
It does look nice.
And I just want to bring in with my pickup truck a little loom at a time for the backyard. I had it for sale, but I changed my mind not to sell it. I want to do something with it, like an Airbnb, so it generates money so that we can still give money back to the church. Because I'm involved with St. Anne's Church, and that's basically it.
Okay.
It's a clean property, I don't know if you've been out there to see it, but it meant a lot to me. That I love to show the inside. It meant a lot to me that I ended up with the house.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew Bobby Ellis, anybody? He was an unbelievable person.
Very nice.
He was a school teacher. He stayed in that house for many years. He didn't do anything with it. He did some stuff that we suggested, and then he did what he wanted to do. He wanted to die in the house, and that's what happened. And I was looking in on him, and I was away, and then I came back and I went to look in on him, and I met Joe Pellegrini. I don't know if you're familiar with Attorney Pellegrini, and he had left the house to, Joe was his attorney. He left his checking account with a large sum of money to the church, and he left the house to the church. And they put it on the market, and they searched, and they wanted some serious money for it, but they weren't getting it. But I was able to give them what they want.
Oh.
Cause it's for the church, you know, and
Sure.
I wanna do something for like a resort, Airbnb, Sardelli Falls,
Mhm.
retreat, and a percentage of the money would go to St. Anne's,
Right.
as long as I was involved.
Okay.
So if, as far as the conservation, aspect of this goes, like you're pretty much, that's the story. Just from my end of it, just so everyone knows, I happened to be driving by, I saw a machine parked out front, so that's the first that I came to realize anything, and then I noticed the driveway had just been recently done. I reached out to Mr. Mangicotti, and he's been very responsive since then. You know, there's been a couple of scheduling conflicts, with people, you know, getting sick and me on both ends, but, you know, he's here today with us, and he's been working very closely with me on it, so
Okay.
he understands now what the process is with, permitting around the riverfront area, so.
I brought the machine over there to pick up a lot of old dead wood that was pretty heavy. That you could see it in the pile, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get out of there. I wouldn't mind bringing the machine back to load it, not to do any digging or anything, but it makes it real easy.
Is it usable wood?
Excuse me?
Is it usable wood?
Well, it was, but it's all gone like punk, it's
Oh.
real.
Alright, so now you just
So
get,
you
now you just
cut
get
it
rid
and
of it,
it's,
okay, alright.
So I'll probably end up throwing it all away.
So in terms of the work that's already done, you're all set, that's kind of a done deal at this point?
Yeah, this
So-
is just kind of after the fact, just letting him know what the process would be and
Okay.
putting him through that anyone else would have gone through,
Okay.
but it's all finished now.
So in terms of work going forward, you wanna get rid of the wood that's there, you said there might be some other trees you might wanna
There's
take
some
out.
debris in the backyard, but I'll be putting that in my pickup truck and taking it out.
Alright,
I tend to not do much there in the cold weather,
Mhm.
you know, and
understandable,
there's no heat on in the house, I keep the lights on.
okay,
But it doesn't need the heat, I drained all the pipes,
okay,
and then come spring, I'll turn it all on. I'd love to have you come out and see it, it's quite a property.
okay. Nick, what I'm thinking is that going forward, I mean, this is, any work going forward will be pretty minor, what I'm thinking is that whenever he wants to do some more work, whether it's pickup trucks, excavators, whatever you're gonna be doing there,
Sure.
just to keep you informed.
Mhm.
So you can, maybe you can go out there and just see if we can get some straw wattle put down, just to protect the river there, there's some stuff that needs to be
I
done
have
there,
an
that's obvious.
architect doing a design, and I might put a two-car garage on it, but I'll come in for that, you know,
Right.
because
Yeah, well,
there's a new
for-
driveway.
For a garage and driveway, that's when you're gonna have to come back to us with
Oh,
another
yeah,
filing.
definitely.
But for the minor work, if you're taking a tree out here and there and little minor work,
Right.
just stay in touch with Nick. But if you're gonna put a new garage in, you're gonna have to come back to us and do a
Right.
whole new filing for that.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
So that's just a little heads up.
Okay.
I might, I don't know.
Okay.
You know.
So Nick, for my education, that's an outflow from the reservoir, isn't it?
I believe it is, yeah.
And that's still considered a river and 200-foot buffer. Yeah.
That's a river,
perennially-
not a brook.
It's a perennially flowing
Yeah.
stream, so it's, yeah.
But isn't it at the whim of the city, if they shut it down or turn it on? Because it's an outflow?
I'll have to look into that one.
Yeah, I've not considered that. But as far as the regulations are written, it's any, you know, perennially flowing stream or river, so as long as it's flowing pretty reliably most of the year, that's how it's considered. I don't think there's anything in the regulations specifying like the source of it or if it's coming from a reservoir or not,
Or
but.
why it's flowing.
Right.
It does come from the reservoir, the Fallbrook Reservoir.
Right,
If it's flowing, it's flowing.
But it's just flowing
They do
most
raise,
of the
they
year
raise
at
the
least,
gate
so-
up and down, cause you can see the volume of water in the
Right,
backyard.
yeah. Yeah.
Last year was a drought, but this year before that, it was unbelievable waterfalls.
Right.
Yeah.
We had a hurricane and the water was, I got video, it was incredible.
Alright,
How far is this work from the water, from the stream?
I do have, for Robert, this was on the, what is it called, on the drive for everyone, so you could see it, but if, I don't know, if Robert wanted to zoom in for the record.
or the whole property's within the Swanfront River.
Yeah, so the river, north being roughly this direction, the river flow, or the outflow from Fallbrook Reservoir flows down here. The waterfall he's talking about is up here, and the driveway runs along the southern side of the property. The machine work and the brush clearing was all up here in front of the house by the road. So, yeah, when I drove by, I saw excavator parked out there.
It was a backhoe.
Oh, the backhoe, yeah, excuse me. Backhoe there. But yeah, that's the extent of the work that was on there.
Nick?
Yes.
Is the water that flows from the Fall River Dam go to the Fall River Brook?
I believe that this is the close to the headwaters of Fall River.
Right,
Yeah.
so absolutely, it's wetlands.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
even without the riverfront, it's still within 100 feet of a well, right?
That's an interesting consideration, Mike. I didn't think about that aspect of it, but as far as the regulations are written, it's just if water's there, then that's that.
And it, the driveway, I've lived up there for so long, the driveway appears to be more than 100 feet from the way the water flows.
There, when
It's
it's
quite a ways.
up near the house, it's a little bit closer. It does
That's
blow
true.
out a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's right. That's
And
right.
part of this, honestly, it might have come through as a request for determination.
Yeah.
If Mr. Mangicotti had come to me beforehand, part of this being an NOI was me coming upon it after the fact and just seeing machine work
Yeah.
and not really knowing what all that was, so.
Yeah, I thought it was associated with the house that was going in next door, because I saw the machines there. too.
Right, I thought it would, originally driving by, I was did too, but then I thought better of it and then drove by again and realized the driveway was done, and that's why I left my card and got in touch with them. But yeah,
So
it's
what-
like kind of right on the line of what it would have been RDA or, but with the machine work in there, that was less than 50 feet from the brook down by the road, so.
Anybody else have any other questions or comments on the? Okay. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments for us? If you do, just please state your name and address before saying anything. Nothing? Okay. What do we need to do? Are we voting on an NOI, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, so this is a notice of intent. It was presented as an abbreviated notice of intent, actually, but still seeking an order of conditions. Like we said, it's after the fact, so all the work has been done.
Right.
Mr. Mangicotti understands the process now. He's been very communicative with me, explaining that he knows to come before us before doing anything on this property.
Yeah.
Because of the location of the river. So with all that, I would recommend that we approve the order of conditions with the general conditions, standard conditions.
All right, and just make sure you put in there something about having just notify you for small work like taking a tree, but if there's gonna be any, particularly with the new garage,
Yes.
you have to
Oh,
come,
definitely.
that's a whole
Yes, yeah.
new event, so. All right, so,
Could I ask one
you
question? Would they ever allow me to put in a electric power wheel on the water?
ooh. My
That's
gut
a nice
reaction is probably not, but we have to look at that, cause that's, in my almost 3 years now on the Concom, we've never been asked that. And I've been on other
It's got
Concons,
enough power there to really, if you
Yeah.
put in something really nice, you wouldn't even know it was there.
yeah, we'd have to probably check with the DEP on that one, but it's,
Yeah.
my gut reaction is probably not, but honestly, I really don't know.
Is the property that you own include the waterfall that comes through your
Oh, yeah, the
property?
property goes to,
Okay, that's a good
land goes
question.
So that is-
over to the neighbor's house up on a hayfield, so it's a big
Okay.
lot.
So the waterfall is
contemporary
on
that's
your
up there?
property.
Okay.
Excuse
Pass
me?
that over.
Encompasses both sides of the street.
Yes, it does.
You see the white water on the corner.
Yeah, it's a cool spot.
Yeah, you never think that was in Leominster.
I know.
The
Yes.
waterfall's incredible.
It's a really nice area.
So I will then accept a motion to approve the order conditions. Okay.
Approving the notice of intent and order.
So that's, I wanna make sure I'm doing this right. We are approving the NOI and the order at the same time?
So the NOI is the applicant, like the application for the order of conditions. So one of the two outcomes for an NOI is approval of an order of conditions or denied order of conditions.
Okay, so it's,
Common sense.
it's a motion to approve the order conditions.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Then I will accept the motion to accept the order of conditions as described herein, with certain conditions that we've outlined for 871 Pleasant Street.
I will make that,
Oh,
right ahead.
I'll make that.
Thank you, Stephanie. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay. So I'll take the rest of the commission's vote by name. Jim Chambers
Okay.
and Richard Gullick
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
All right, so motion passes 5-0, and you get your order of conditions, so I'll get that to you, later this week.
Okay, so I'm all set?
You're all set.
Okay.
What was your last name again?
My name's Anthony Mangiacardi.
Mangiacardi, thank you, Mr. Mangiacardi,
Yeah,
appreciate you coming
thank
in.
you two guys, you do a great job.
Good.
Thank
I
you.
did a tribute to all who served this country, it's called Liberty.
Oh.
Yeah, the mayor knows, I've got a CD coming out.
Okay.
They wanted me to sing the song at the half shell at 4th of July.
Oh.
So you might see me there, but when I get done, I'll give him a pack of CDs, cause I got the 4th CD coming
Okay.
out. Make sure you guys all get one.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And include some chocolates with it too.
Yeah, you forgot tonight, so we'll let that one go.
I can come back if you want, I'll make
That's
it
fine.
right
Sure,
out.
come on in anytime.
All right, see you later.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
sir.
night,
Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good, all right, well, moving on then. Take my glasses off, read this one into the record. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent for the replacement and relocation of an electrical utility pole in the riverfront area. Address 189 Litchfield Street, map and parcel 482-2-12, DP file number 199-1168. I assume you're here to present on that.
Yes.
Thank you. Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Samantha Walker. I'm here to present this on behalf of Massachusetts Electric Company.
Okay.
I just want to give you the others and check with legal ed. And here's some plans to look at. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So this is the same project that's been before us before, it's just a
No,
a
that
change, so-
that was the transmission lines,
Yeah.
like all through the mountains and stuff. This is for the one utility pole on the bridge at Litchfield Street.
Is this
Oh,
the
all right.
bridge that we looked at there?
All right, all right.
The
back.
same
That had the
bridge.
sharp
Now
left
we're
turn
there.
right after it, downstream, and under the railroad?
Maybe. I know there was a bridge.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there was an order for a bridge replacement on
Yeah,
this
That's where
recently.
we are here.
That was, I think that was shortly
Oh,
before I
yeah, here's a
came.
left turn in the railroad, right?
Yeah.
I kinda looked at the map.
So
Okay, now that we're all set.
that same area, different new order,
Got
or
it.
new NOI here.
All right.
So, Massachusetts Electric Company is proposing to improve the reliability and accessibility of this feeder line along Litchfield Street, by relocating pole 1 off of the steep rocky bank of Fall Brook, which it's currently located at, about 15 feet over on flat, stable ground. In addition, this pole removal is necessary for the, to accommodate the City of Leominster's Litchfield Bridge Replacement Project, which may have been the previous NOI you guys were talking about.
Can you do me a favor just for a quick, just to orient us?
Sure.
Which of the numbers 1 in here, which is the one with the X, is that where it is now?
Yeah, the
Yes,
red X.
so the red X is where it is now.
And it's going to the
And
yellow,
it's going to the yellow dot.
just a few feet away.
It's about 15 feet away.
Is it 15? Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead. Just want to align myself,
No, yeah, yeah, so it's just getting relocated over, so that they can replace the bridge and it's no longer located on that, unstable area. In order to do this, they have to realign the overhead line, so they have to be a lot of tree removals in order to create the proper clearances for the new overhead line that has to go in, between all of the surrounding poles and the relocated pole. In addition, some of these trees, I'm assuming, would have to get removed anyway for the bridge replacement project. In addition, we had a last minute request from the engineers to have an additional pole installation, which I've added in there. It's pole 9-5.
Up near the top there.
Got it.
Yeah, they have to add that in for stability of
That's
the
a new
line.
pole?
It's a new pole. And then they have to put in a 5-foot by 6-foot grounding grid around the pole to ground it for electrical reasons, obviously. Which is installed by, they dig out the 5-foot by 6-foot area around the pole. The pole will be up here and the grid kind of goes around it. And they dig it out about 6 inches, put the grounding grid in, and then cover it with gravel. So that's the additional impact that wasn't included in the original submittal, was that is the additional 4 square feet impacts of the other pole and the 5 foot by 6 foot grounding grid.
Only has to go in 6 inches.
Yeah,
Then the new one's 9-50 here.
yes.
9-50 and 1.
Yeah.
Down there, yeah.
What are the other lines indicated in yellow? Just to be sure.
The new overhead line, I think.
I could have read the legend at the bottom.
Well, it's okay. And then
I'm
I
sorry,
think
go
the
ahead.
red ones, the red ones I think are just show the poles, the old lines.
Yeah.
But that's the gist of it. So, with this, we're just asking to receive a negative determination for this work. Sorry, an order of conditions.
Yes.
Sorry.
Wishful thinking,
It's been
right?
a long week, it's only Tuesday. For this project, and with that, I'll take any additional questions.
All right, in terms of the tree removal,
Yeah.
are those, you said they gotta be removed anyway for the bridge replacement, so were these, the tree removals already before us, or are these tree removals new with this submission, do you know? Because honestly, that's my only, poles gotta be replaced, I have no problem with that, but my issue is the tree removal,
Right.
so I'm sure we're doing that right.
Yeah,
Do you know the answer to that question?
Yeah, so that was something we struggled with. Nick had sent us the permit that was submitted by this DPW, I guess. And I didn't see
For the
any,
bridge replacement?
correct.
Yeah.
I didn't see any tree removals on there.
Okay,
So I was like, to be safe, we should just permit what we have to do. Not all of those trees have to get removed for the bridge replacement. Some of them are maintenance work, and some of them is to provide that extra clearance that we now have to have for the shifting of the lines.
okay.
I know it's a
How many
lot,
of
but
each?
Hmm?
How many of each?
how many of each?
Of the 2 groups you just mentioned.
Like you're saying some are being removed and some are being trimmed?
No, they're all those are being removed.
Oh, okay.
Right, and but some of them are being removed for the regular maintenance, right? And some of them are being removed for the new pole, was it?
Right, I didn't include the ones that are being removed from maintenance on the map. All the ones on the map are being removed for the clearances, the new clearances.
What, looking at the, legend here, am I missing something about any kind of, sediment catchment, like straw wattle or hay bales or anything? Did this work right along?
Yeah, I mean, we'll typically put, wattles around where the poles are being installed.
Yeah.
A little horseshoe shape, that's standard. I included that in the BMPs, in the last attachment. So they'll do, and then I'll have them, depending on the terrain, between, pretty much any of the work and the river, the brook there will get. But they're leaving the stumps in place,
I was gonna ask you that, okay. Yeah.
and all of the tree work will be done from the road, except for a small section, where they have to go a little bit around the, guardrail to get to some of the trees. So there's a small section where they'll have to go a little off the road, but there's not really gonna be much ground disturbance associated with the actual removals themselves.
How typically high, big a stump do they, a foot or two, you know?
I don't know,
It's kind
but
of.
I can ask them. I don't know.
So my only concern there, my other concern, aside from even though it's gonna be a lot of work done from the street, there's gonna be some people in there. So my only other concern besides putting in some type of straw wattle on the uphill portion of the slope going down to the river, I don't recall the exact contours here, you don't have any contour lines here really, is part of the concerns of the Conservation Commission is not only stabilization of stream banks, but also protection of cold water habitat with tree shade. Is there any consideration with that?
The herbaceous layer, the shrub layer will be kept, and will be maintained over time for compatibility with the overhead lines.
Yeah.
They're not clearing everything,
Okay.
so there will be vegetation left in terms of stability of the roots. But in terms of right near the Fall Brook, I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong in this assumption, that most of those trees have to be removed for the bridge replacement project anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I don't recall if we had that conversation with the DPW about,
Closest one here looks 45 feet from the.
is that what it
The water is really screaming through there, it's not like it's static, so it's gonna have a chance to warm up, it's
True.
moving pretty, it's moving really
It's
fast.
45 feet, that'd be a really wide tree. To give it a lot of shade.
Which one's 45 feet, what,
Used to be tall.
Yeah, where are you seeing the?
45 to what, to the closest tree being removed?
That's what I'm seeing roughly, it looks like a
Yeah.
white one.
Okay.
Two.
There's an elm tree right north of it.
pink one.
She's showing a birch tree in white there, on the southern, on this side of the brook.
But that's close to the.
No, the brook's right there, so that's, I mean, the scale is,
Oh, yeah.
the scale
It's
is.
just a lot. It should seem closer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say this, kind of the same thing, but whether the one tree I was looking at or not, the vast majority of them are farther away from the brook, so
Okay.
I would, say
Well,
that that's.
there's also a 200-foot riverfront area, but I mean, this work's gotta get done, so.
Yeah, but in terms of like shading the brook,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
right.
saying.
No, I don't think we need to hold the project up for this, but I would like to see some type of, maybe just even submit a revised map with some type of runoff protection.
Well, we usually, and I'm happy to do that, but, we'll have like a pre-conservation, a pre-construction meeting with the agent,
Okay.
figure out where you want the
Okay.
wattles.
That'd
I
be
mean,
good,
Yeah, we could just, I don't see that need to hold up another 2 weeks to get a revised thing, cause like you said, like that was, I didn't have time to look through it, but you said that's in the horseshoe shaped wattles around the poles, like that's in the BMPs.
It is, and we have no
today.
problem putting wattles along the bank, I mean,
And that's
that's fine.
And that's included in our general conditions anyway, is
It's
that,
in there.
All right,
It's in their
that's
areas,
true,
I think.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, good point.
so.
All right,
I have,
yeah,
just one.
I'm all set,
other-
so yeah, anybody else have any questions, comments, please
Thank
do.
I just wanted to see if there were gonna be any poles, either the new ones being installed or the old ones after they were moved being stored on the property for any period of time, or is it just the day, the day that they come in, they go up, the old one gets taken out same day?
So it depends. The installation can take a day, but removing the old pole sometimes, like Verizon has to come in if they have wiring on
Sure.
there. It's like sometimes the removal can get delayed. But in terms of storing, like laying a pole on the side of the road, they're not going to do that for a long period of time. There's no reason to, because they also have a substation right across the street where they can store all their stuff.
Okay.
So they're not going to just like leave poles on the side of the road.
I was, less concerned about on the side of the road, maybe I should have been more concerned about it on the side of the road, but just with, how treated the poles are, I didn't want it like horizontal,
I see what you're saying.
touching
So
a
you're
lot
talking about
of,
the CCA?
just like leaching off,
Right.
into any soil unnecessarily.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I can ask them to make sure they don't do that. There isn't really room. I can ask them to do that. There isn't really much room for them to do that, and since they have their property right across
Yeah,
the
if
street,
they've got the substation, there's no reason that if they had to store a pole, it couldn't be done.
it would be silly
Well,
It would,
But-
you'd probably want it inside the gated area anyway.
typically. But I am happy to say, don't do this.
Yeah, they're so gross. They're bad.
Yes, sir?
Yes, sorry.
Can we make that an order of conditions that they have to store something, I mean, they've got the substation right there, and they've probably got, containment areas over there as well.
I'm not sure it's gonna make any difference, it's being rained on anyways. It's all
Absolutely,
Yeah,
and the
Let's
PAHs
not
and
add anything to their
the
burden.
PAHs and stuff on the edge of the road are already there from the asphalt and all the, the fuel vehicles and stuff. the vehicle traffic.
The substation is a good 50 feet above the.
But I wanna.
That's just wrong.
This is for the next time I make a mistake.
Okay.
Everybody in the room.
I'll have to see before I can officially accept it. I'm not
Come
even.
on, pass it around.
All right.
You have to pass it
I'll
to the
share this
whole
around
meeting.
City Hall. I'll share it
Nick,
around
give this
City
guy whatever he wants.
Hall. All right.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'll share this around, so just for that, I don't know if I'm allowed to be taking stuff, but I will. That's very.
Well, no,
sweet, funny,
it's a $25 limit, right?
That is
I think so.
acceptable, you should share it with everyone tonight.
Correct.
So I'll
If you
share-
share it, then then you're good.
We'll share it around, yeah, we'll share it around.
So we're at the tail end of the CCA conversation.
Yeah.
So, we can always just put a special condition to if they're gonna be stored for any longer than a day or two, if they stick them on the.
Yeah,
It's not moving a mountain, they got a space right across the road they can put it.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't see it making a huge difference, but it wouldn't be
Okay.
much trouble to
Yeah.
throw on a condition anyway,
Yeah.
so we can,
Okay.
yeah, we can
So I
slide it.
don't know, just put a bare tarp underneath it. So-
Yeah.
Or what, yeah, I think, so.
May I ask, the substation, these lines 1, 2, and 4, are those connected to the substation?
I would assume so, yeah.
And so are those high power, high voltage, or are they been, the voltage been reduced by the substation on those?
It gets reduced by the substation.
Because otherwise, you'd need to be looking at the clearance for the canopy from the wires overheads.
Yeah, I don't think these are transmission lines,
Okay.
I think those are just primary.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand your question fully, but they are removing all these trees for those
Yeah, I
things.
just mean like, well, the high voltage lines that are coming into the substation obviously have to be.
Well, these are
so many
distribution
feet
feeder
above.
lines, yeah, these are not,
Yeah.
Anybody else have any comments, questions? No? Okay.
Alright, yeah,
Any
so,
recommendation?
yeah, if no one else has, anything to add, then, based off of the hearing and the information presented today, I would recommend that we, approve an order of condition with, that added condition that poles not be stored on site after they're removed. I think that's the only thing.
For how long?
After being removed?
Yeah, please define storage for that, if we're gonna ask. No, we have to give them a time, because what do? They set it down for 10 minutes, we gotta give them a time limit, right?
I mean, like, 48 hours?
A week, I don't know.
48 hours.
Yeah, ask
Like
them.
48 hours.
Would that, think that would work for the construction crews?
It's
40?
reasonable.
Alright,
They got 48 hours.
so that's both for the new poles and the old poles coming out, they can't be stored on site for any more than 48 hours, is that what you're saying?
I'm saying we need a time limit.
Right,
I'm not saying what it is.
right, no, and I just said 48 hours, that seems to work fine.
They'll say what's defined, what's the definition of store, if we lay it down, are we in trouble?
Right.
No.
Exactly, that's good.
No.
Yeah.
Alright, so one of the special conditions is that the new or old poles can't be stored on site on the ground for any more than 48 hours, is that, am I capturing that correctly?
That captures the concept.
Okay, alright.
I think that's fair.
48
So,
hours is-
so I'll then entertain a motion to approve the order conditions with all the general conditions and the one special condition related to the 48-hour storage for the new or old poles.
Yes.
With that, I'll accept the condition, no, a motion. Condition.
Motion made.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. I'll, take the votes, from the rest of the commission by roll call. So, Steph Quinlan,
Aye.
and Richard Gullick,
Aye.
and Chuck Raymond.
I vote aye.
And with that, we, approve the order of conditions 5-0, and I'll be getting that to you later this week.
Okay, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Samantha.
Have a good evening.
You want some chocolate?
Thank you.
Everybody's gonna wanna
Hey,
come on
what's the problem?
Valentine's Day.
Candy burrito?
Okay.
Have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right, moving on then.
Yeah. So I don't know if you need to read it in, yeah, this is for 11 Wildflower that we had last time, but they're not,
Yeah, the pole removal.
there's no DP, developments with that, so.
Okay, and then, yeah, they're not here anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so we'll just skip,
I will.
Do we need to officially table that? What do we need to do?
Because we continue to till the next meeting or until DEP,
Oh, all right. Okay.
issues with,
So
so
we don't-
I think we're fine.
We don't have to do anything official with it, okay.
Yeah, while we're on it though, I will mention that I am visiting that site tomorrow, at 9 o'clock, because they had asked some questions about erosion controls and where they need to go, so I was gonna go meet them on site, so I just wanted to extend that offer to anybody going out there. I know we've all been out on Wildflower a couple of times, but, if you wanted to go for this specifically, you're more than welcome, but I'll be there tomorrow at 9, so.
Normally, I'll be in Worcester tomorrow morning, so.
What's the time frame on DEP and getting the number?
I don't know
What do
why,
they require? We talked about this last time, so I wanted to push this through, and now we're gonna wait through another meeting, which they don't need to be at, by the way, in my opinion at least. least for this to get it.
Right, yeah.
But how long are we gonna wait?
I don't know why their NOI hasn't gotten a review. It's not even on the portal, and other things that have come in since then have been put up on the portal. The applicant told me that they sent it into DEP,
Okay.
so it kind of baffles me as to why it's not on the portal even at all. But I mean,
Maybe it didn't get there.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Maybe,
if they can't find it on the
I sent it
portal,
to, and I sent it to the central office email too. I sent them a copy, my electronic copy of their submission. So I will be. I'll call them tomorrow and ask if they've gotten a copy of that. Or
Yeah, please push it along for our
if not,
citizens.
then yeah. So, but I mean, as far as this goes, I would just continue to recommend that we wait to get comments on it.
But please ask them what
But I
the
will,
status is,
yes.
and I'll start pushing in 2 weeks.
Okay,
Fair enough.
I hear you. All right.
Okay.
So I will ask DEP what's the holdup.
What's the dealio?
It's not a big project.
Right.
Huge
Exactly,
concern,
yeah.
so it's-
Not particularly complex, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
And they wanna improve the situation out there, so.
Right.
All right. Moving on then, under regular meetings. Under new business. First item, new commission candidate.
Hey. So I don't know if you wanna, cause he's also here for 261 Granite Street, so I don't know if you wanna throw those together or just.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wait until it comes up for the grant certificate of compliance one. We'll just come on and say, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, then moving on then temporarily to Greening the Gateway Cities Implementation Grant.
I was gonna say we could just do.
Oh, when you would do them now?
Yeah, just get.
Oh,
his-
all right,
Well, I
okay,
mean,
we'll
he's
do
gonna stick around. Are you hanging around for the whole meeting? So I mean, it doesn't matter. Whatever we can.
Oh, we'll do it now then, okay, so I'm sorry, backing up then. We will combine the new commission candidate with, the, certificate of compliance approval for 261 Granite Street. So let me read that one into the record, certificate of compliance. 261 Granite Street, DEP file number 199-392. So why don't we do that first, and then we'll get to your candidacy. Good.
So if you wanna come on up, you can sit there wherever you're comfortable, Bob. But.
You have the chocolates, I'm not going out and buying flowers.
So please introduce yourself and your address.
My name is Robert Seacard, been in Leominster for 32 years. The address is 261 Granite Street, past the high school.
All right.
So yeah, why? What brings you before us today, and why now?
Yeah, a big oversight, I guess, on my part. Actually, I think it was fostered by that storm. A tree fell on my neighbor's car from my property. And again, just realizing that we needed to get these order conditions, and I talked to my wife again, we've gotta get this done. Thought of it many times, came down a couple times, but never followed through. I think we've been very good stewards of the area. I think we had a few ideas too, and my family had a few ideas, why don't you make a water turn and thing and down there, or a bridge over? And I said, no, you can't go within 100 feet or lift anything out of there, I explained to everybody, and we've been very good stewards in taking care of the vernal pools around there and stuff like that, and just never got to it, unfortunately. But as we get older, we realize it's going to be left to your children if you don't take care of it now, so it's time to take care of it. And Nick was nice enough to come up and look it over and see the distances and look at what we have there at the house.
So this relates to your house being built in the first place?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And it just never got closed up? Okay. All right. So, and so you've been to the property,
Yep.
What are your opinions?
I had a site visit on January 30th with Mr. Seacard, and we walked around and just reviewed where the house is, where all the grading was, and it all matched up with the original plans from
Okay.
back in the 90s. So, yeah, like you said, it's just one of those things. I feel like we have one of these once a meeting or so
Yeah.
now. Or it's just
Yeah, right.
oversight. The house gets built, and then that's kind of that. So,
Yeah.
just getting to it now. So
Okay.
with all that, I would recommend that we approve the certificate of compliance.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I'll then accept the motion to approve the certificate of compliance for 261 Granite Street, DP file number 199-392.
Motion made.
Thank you. Second?
I will second it.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, I'll take the rest of the commission's vote by roll call. Jim Chambers.
Aye.
Richard Gulick.
Aye.
And Chuck Raymond.
Aye.
Alright, so with that, we grant the certificate of compliance as a complete, also
Good.
specific.
All right.
Only took, what, 25 years?
Yeah.
And I will say too, though, although I've seen it in a lot of other locations, my siltation fence stayed up perfectly through everything.
Perfect.
You know,
Nice.
there was no breach of it at all, you know. And being in the environmental field for so many years, I'm not that I'm a tree hugger or anything, but I pay attention to detail, and it wasn't gonna happen on my project, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, speaking of not being a tree hugger, so you're a new commission candidate, tell us about yourself. And by the way, I'll pass this on, he gave me his resume.
Yeah.
Feel free to take a look at it.
I've been fortunate enough to, be in the environmental field, air monitoring. I monitor sort of air toxics in a very big way for most of the big companies, Bristol Myers Squibb, all the big Duke Energy power companies throughout my years. I've done a lot of wastewater. I had a wastewater license. A lot of my stuff is lapsed now because I have retired a couple of years ago, semi-retired. The phone calls don't stop. My last big project was with the State Department, a $30 million project to install air monitoring equipment in all the U.S. embassies around the world. So I've been to Tajikistan, borders in Afghanistan, Kosovo.
Who's that contract with?
State Department, U.S. State Department, all the U.S. embassies. And all the monitors are up on a website called Air Now. You can go to it, the embassies, it has a section at the top if you want to see the particulate and ozone levels around the world of all these, actually it was started by Kerry, John Kerry's idea.
When he was Secretary of State.
Yeah, him and the embassy, who was the president or something, but anyway, to protect the U.S. Personnel at these sites, because some of these areas, they burn everything. The air quality is not good in a lot of places. We won't name India or any other places, but we're in Vietnam, everywhere around the world. I've only been to a few, Kosovo and Algeria, a lot of historic places. It was really very interesting thing to do. And it's a very unique skill set to do what I do for these electronic optical equipment used for the chemical analysis and parts per billion. Every compound you can think of you're breathing out, I know it can measure that low. That's what I do. I've developed actually the initial numbers for the building of Deer Island, out in Boston Harbor. Proved them after it was constructed and the work correct. So I've done a lot of work with Puerto Rico, bringing them along to new standards too, throughout the years. My family actually thought I had a family down there. I was down there so much. But I am not a rebel. I bring common sense. Because I work with my hands. I work with a lot of teams. A lot of big projects, a lot of important things. And you can see my resume. I've been around a while. So I appreciate the offer. Nick came up at the right time. I've been volunteering at St. Leo's for my grandchildren with the lunch duties of the little kids. Actually helped them take the COVID era, they never stopped going to school through the whole COVID epidemic. And what we did was we brought the lunches from the cafeteria to the classrooms, and they ate in the classrooms. So I did that for them, you know. And giving back, so to speak, a little more, and I like Nick, the way his professionalism was when I seen him, and he thought of it, and I said, well, I asked my wife and son, they said, yeah, they said that'd be a good idea. You know,
You were doing good till that last part.
so I'd be honored to, you know, help you guys out or meet with you, support you. You know, I don't bring a lot of wetlands expertise yet, you know, and when I do dig in, I dig in though.
Alright. Yeah, the wetlands expertise it's helpful and useful, but it's not required. It'll take some getting up to speed a little bit on Wetlands Protection Act, and probably we'll be discussing it later, possibly our own bylaw. I almost said our own little bylaw. Our own bylaw, so, but right now it's Wetlands Protection Act. Should you come on the commission, Nick can help you with that and get your copy of that, so you can educate yourself, or just show you where it is online. You can read it online too. For that matter.
There's training that the new commissioners typically.
Right.
There's like
City
initial
pays for it.
training and then like additional courses that, you know, can be taken.
Yeah, so like Chuck was saying, it's not, you know, specific wetland background isn't required, it's helpful with this, but personally what I like to look for in the commission is someone that has experience that we don't have. So I figure with Bob and his air quality background is very different from what anyone's got. You know, he's obviously a very smart guy and, you know, very professional, so I feel like he could be a quick learner and give us a new perspective, ask different questions that other people on the commission wouldn't think to ask. So.
I think I will. You know, even the pole thing, I'm asking myself, well, she didn't really state whether it was a wood pole or a steel pole or, you know, what it was.
Not yet, Bob.
Can we get her back in here?
Yeah, this is very good. This is very good. This is good.
I know Bob from hiking around the neighborhood. We've hiked together.
Oh.
We've talked about these environmental things.
Is this
Chat when I go
nepotism?
by his house. No, I didn't know he was coming here until on my way down here at 5 minutes to 6, I drove by to see which was 261, and I realized it as I got close. It was Bob's house. I always wave every time I hike by, whether I see him or not. But I have had good conversations with him about environmental things for quite a, for several minutes at times.
Yep.
So I encourage his candidacy now that I know he's applied.
Awesome.
FYI.
Well, you're looking good until we learn that you keep bad company. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know who you know what.
It's always been a gentleman, so always been a gentleman.
Thank you. Great. Well, perfect.
David, you have something?
Yeah, well, welcome, Bob. I'm a retired engineer, environmental engineer myself, so.
Recovering engineer?
So, I think your qualifications serve this committee very well. Just a side question, is your monitoring equipment, can it detect COVID in the air?
COVID?
Yeah.
There has been some vendors around the world that have tried, but they haven't had much success. No, this does not, any instrument that I work with, no. They've tried though. I mean, there is some high quality instruments that have tried to do that, but no, they can't. They can't. I mean, that's like chasing a germ.
Yeah.
You know, you can, the best you can do is with swabs or a larger collection and take it to a lab. You know, there's nothing instantaneous. You know, we have to do it every minute. You know, every 10 seconds.
Well, I know that there's analysis of sewage going on right now to determine.
Oh yeah,
COVID
yeah.
level.
That's quite interesting. That's we knew that could be done though. That again is going out and grabbing a sample.
Right.
And going back.
Going to the lab, yeah.
I deal with more real time. Every minute of the day, every day of the year, you know, continuous around the clock monitoring of all pollutants going out any stack, everywhere.
Thank you.
Just kind of piggybacking off that, I don't wanna keep us too long going into the weeds here, but I'm just curious, is that because with COVID, are the particles too big, or are they too complex, or is it a little bit of both? Like,
I
why
think it's a
can't
little
you?
bit of both.
Yeah, okay. You're measuring more like molecular, like type stuff?
Yeah, these are developed methods, flame photometric.
You're measuring chemicals, not
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's
microbiological
what-
agents.
That's what I
Basically, they're counting their atom specific to them, but they've done a lot with lasers, and they have tried hard, and some of them said they could, but I don't think they proved it very well enough that it went commercial with anything.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I just
Michael,
kinda-
do you have anything?
No?
Okay. Alrighty. Well, we appreciate you coming in. It's not our decision to make. You'll hear from the city council, the mayor or something.
So yeah, they read in, I don't really understand the process, they have to read you in the meeting before, so they're usually, the Monday before our meetings is when city council has it, so they read your item in yesterday, so they'll be ready for you the next meeting on the 27th, I believe, but I'll email you with that information, and then you'll just have to go into the city council kind of like with us, a little more formal. I haven't been there, these people have, but
I did mine online.
yeah.
And they'll ask you questions.
Yeah. Slightly more intimidating, but I've got full confidence in you.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine.
It is definitely a little more formal.
They wear suits.
They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a
Dress up.
microphone.
Yeah.
So,
I was lucky. I did mine during the beginning of COVID, so mine was just online.
did yours in your pajamas?
Moving on.
Oh, it was a sweatshirt sitting in my bedroom.
Pajama bottoms?
All
Alright, yeah, so that'll likely be on the 27th, but I'll follow up with an email and let you know.
Okay.
Exactly when that would be, and then, once you're good with that, assuming they vote you through, and I think they will, and then, you'll be ready to join us for our meeting on the 28th.
Great, that'd be great.
Yeah. So,
And chocolates.
I'll be in touch.
Don't
Appreciate
forget
it.
Yeah, would you like a chocolate?
Hey, there you go.
Are you sure?
I'm the only one that can have it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're not on it yet, so you can't be right.
And I thought it was $5, not 25.
Yeah, it could be.
Inflation.
All right, thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Now moving on to old business. So 1771 Lock Drive update. There's nothing tonight, right?
No, he said he might have had something ready today, so that's why I threw it on the agenda, but he said if not today, then he'll definitely be ready up by the 28th.
Okay.
with,
The Jersey barriers aren't up yet?
The Jersey barriers are up
Are up.
with,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
they're,
big news.
they're pretty,
That's an update.
That's what I cared about.
they're pretty scant. We knew that going in, but, you
Are
know,
they effective to block the trucks? from
they're
getting
up
back?
and there's, police tape or something strung between them, so it's pretty clear, like,
It's effective.
someone could drive through it, but it's clear that you're not supposed to, so,
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
yeah, that's what they
So they
got.
save some money by not putting them everywhere.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
yeah,
As long as something's up blocking the trucks.
yes.
Good.
Very evident.
All right.
So you saw it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I meant to ask you, cause
Now we're done.
last time we
And
talked,
you're
it
good,
hadn't had
you're
it
good
up.
with it?
Huh?
You're good with that? With the-
Yeah.
Great.
Somebody'd really have to wanna drive through it.
Yeah.
They don't wanna dent the trucks that just got
Yeah,
fixed.
we're not looking at black terrorists.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Through the
It's
trucks.
fine.
So,
Yeah.
it's still kind of a mess back there, but hopefully that's resolved once the
Yeah, we'll see
application
what
gets
Matt has to say.
Yeah, we'll
It's
see.
improvement.
All right.
Thank you.
Moving on, conservation area signage. I was talking to Nick about this earlier today. I was hoping Ken would be here. In terms of standardizing conservation area signs, because I'm wondering if when he was on the Lancaster Concon, if they had any particular branding that they had on their signs. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been talking to someone from Adesign for a little bit, trying to get an estimate, trying to get some ideas going for a sign for the Botel Conservation Area on Hill Street that we just voted for the name change for. And it's not only them, they really need some off-road signage to draw people in, just driving by, or so, you know, if you don't already know where it is, that you can get an idea. But there's a lot of places like that around Leominster, so there's like Prospect Park needs some better signage. They have a sign on the street at least, which is more than.
So you gotta look for it.
Yeah, you do have to really look for it, and you can only see it coming from the one direction,
Right.
so. I kind of have a desire to get new signs for Hotel, Prospect Park, maybe a couple other places. I was talking to Chuck a little bit. This is going a little out of scope here, but still in the area of, better signage. Is anyone, who's familiar with Johnny Appleseed State Park? Are you guys familiar with that
Yeah.
at all? Down by the river, but it's like, there's like no access to it really, and you wouldn't really even know that it's down there. There's trails and stuff, but you have to go like behind the baseball fields to get to it. So
Or beyond the river.
or beyond the river, yeah. And so part of the problem with while we're on
Forest is the river, so.
while we're on Johnny Appleseed State Park, I just wanted to mention I am in touch with Peter Bavenzi because he's the contact for the now defunct Leominster Land Trust, and he's, I guess, manages or handles all the lands that used to be owned by them. So the access that we would need to get into that area and maybe install proper like parking area and some signs is owned by the Leominster Land Trust. But I was gonna meet out him there today. I had to cancel because something else. But I'm in touch with him about possibly acquiring that for the city or just getting like an easement so that we could get, a proper park entrance and parking area there. So that would be a third one. So Prospect.
Because it's in the land trust, do we need an easement?
I don't know if we would. I don't know. Just getting permission. I still have to talk to him about it. But just that in general, just getting what we would need to get a parking area installed in there and some proper signage. So Prospect, Botel, and Johnny Appleseed maybe down the road. Yeah. So just if anyone has general themes or ideas now, I'd be happy to hear it. But this is more just to announce it and let you guys know and start thinking about like what you'd like to see in terms of the style, the colors, the materials. There's a lot of decisions to be made about it, and I'd like to keep some consistency with it. So I just want to like get a good idea off the bat, and then we can maybe start ordering signs.
Maybe some standardization, the park hours, blah, 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 blah. Like when you have something unique that reflects, okay, this is Johnny Appleseed State Park, so you get a Johnny Appleseed.
Okay.
Well, the thing, no, we can customize each one, but I think the base of it they all need to be the same.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You go down, everything else, just the one thing on
Yeah.
The
top.
posts, how we're gonna do the
Yeah, I mean,
work.
the city logo, I mean, it should be
Yeah.
evident that
City
it's,
logo. Okay, yeah.
it
This
should
is
be
what I'm-
evident that it's the city that's sponsoring this.
Right.
That what's allowed in the park,
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
bicycles, no
So-
bicycles.
Right. That would be more. There's like we have white. They're just like white reflective squares. You've probably seen them around with like dog. That would be something separate that we could just post anywhere.
Further in, you're looking for things at the roadside.
Yeah, like for the
Oh,
entrance
I was thinking
sign.
of trailhead sign.
No, for like the entrance. Just
For automobiles, to see
Yeah.
people walking,
Yes.
going by. And
When
no
you're
drivers.
driving.
Much simpler sign.
Yeah.
You don't have to specify which vehicles are allowed in on the road.
No,
Yes.
that's the next sign.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I think I was thinking more trailhead signs too, because I'm thinking because I used to work in Acton, they've got a lot of conservation lands and trails in Acton. And one of the trails I used to go running on was, they had really some nice signage from a Boy Scout project. But that was like on the trails, and I don't think a hand carved wooden sign would be appropriate for out along the road.
Right. Yeah.
We're probably talking more metal signs here is my guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Metal signs.
See what they have at some of the other parks.
Yeah, well, I believe you need to contact DPW because there's some sort of standardization
Yeah,
of
that's a good point.
signs
That's
on
a
there.
good point.
on the road.
DPW.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna have all sorts of suggestions.
But if you wanna have us look at your proposals, that's great.
Hmm?
If you wanna have us look at your proposed designs, that'll be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I need to get some designs.
Commend you for taking the initiative.
Yes.
No problem. Yeah. So yeah, just kind of think about it. I'm leaning towards more like metal signage. So I kind of.
Yeah.
Is that what we're
I'm just laughing because you're in the metal.
metal? Yeah.
Wasting time.
So yeah, basically some standardization of the signs, but
Yeah.
But in certain cases, if there's any way to customize, like with an
Yeah.
apple on it or what have you, but GPW, check with the city to see if there's any other departments that might have, some type of ideas in terms of colors.
Yeah,
Do we
like
want
city
green,
signs.
blue, brown, black, what's it, yeah.
Okay. So I'll talk to some other, I'll talk to DPW, some other departments,
Yeah.
and just everyone kind of brainstorm what you'd like to, your own sort of thing, and colors and whatever.
So this is, we literally just say, let's say Prospect Park, we literally just say Prospect Park. Is there,
Yeah.
That's, okay.
Just Prospect Park. Same with Botel, Botel area, conservation area, and then maybe like a little subtext of like, managed by Leominster Conservation Commission or.
Yeah, okay.
Hiking, fishing,
Yeah, with like city seal.
what can you do there? Hiking, biking, or something.
Yeah.
We're
And
not.
Well, that, yeah.
I pulled into the Johnny Appleseed Visitor Center down there, and there are no, but maybe they are, you can tell me if I'm wrong. There are no indicators of where the trail systems are in Leominster there. And if people are coming to visit the area, and they might wanna have a canoe, or they might wanna take a hike, it would be nice to have a little pavilion there with, where are the,
With the whole blue trails,
All of them,
everything
yeah,
else
where-
map, the
where
whole
all of
city
that.
map of it, that is a good.
So let's have the same map at all the different.
well, just show, this is, I don't know, display at the Johnny Appleseed Center, all of the trails that are available to people that are visiting the area.
The different, where the parks are, map
Yeah,
of where the
different
parks are,
parks
you
are,
got the whole.
No, understood. Do we have, is that in the town's city website?
I would imagine there's
It's
maps
gotta
around.
be-
Rec
Yeah,
department.
Oh, who
whoever does
uses the
the
internet?
posts, like the ones that are at Shoalin Farms and the ones that are at.
Yeah, like the big maps.
No, I just mean like the posts that have the maps on them,
Oh,
whoever
Yeah.
put those together, I'm sure.
That's the trail
Trail
stories.
That's
streets.
trail
Yeah.
stories.
But like a citywide map though.
It's on the rec department website,
Rec department. Okay.
along with the other trail maps.
Okay.
So somebody's got the originals.
Okay. I will.
Very good.
Oh yeah, I'll talk to somebody about getting those. Put a Johnny Appleseed visitor center. That's a good idea. That's not technically in Leominster, so I don't know how much sway we have.
It
over
was,
there.
that's nice.
It's in Lancaster.
Well, it's in Lancaster, but it's a state building, so.
Oh, okay. Right. But yeah, it's like funnily enough, it's not.
That's like, yes, okay.
Yeah, it's over the border.
I thought we had dibs on all of
Even the welcome to
I know,
Lancaster,
right?
sorry.
Oh, really?
Is Lancaster.
Oh, no kidding.
All right,
Yeah.
So anything else with the sign, did you have something?
No, but I was gonna say, we skipped over the, greening the gateway,
You did?
and
did.
I thought that was really cool, and I wanted
You got a little
to hear
mixed
more
up.
about
Yeah, we
it.
did, yeah, with you coming up
Sorry,
twice,
not,
yeah.
not to hold it up, but.
Yeah,
No,
no,
it's
no,
not
we
good.
did,
You're
for sure, that makes sense.
moving along.
Just so we
Okay,
don't,
perfect.
Thank you.
just so we don't forget, yeah, let's go, I missed one, let's go back under new business, go to Green the Gateway Cities Implementation Grant.
Yeah.
How did we get sidetracked there? I remember reading that, anyway.
Because we did both of Bob's things at
That's
the same
what it was.
time, and then but that was my
Thank you.
fault.
Okay.
So the Green the Gateway. So a lot of last week and a little bit of the week before, I was working on the municipal partnership grant.
Are we moved on from the signage?
Are you done with that?
Yes.
Oh, did you
Sorry,
already-
Did you have
any input?
suggestions?
No.
Thoughts, comments?
No,
Do we have what?
we're about it, so we.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we were just talking about what signs we might want, no specific plans at all. We're just talking about on various conservation land, putting signs up so people know better from the road where these parks are, that's all that was.
And where are you abutters?
178.
Which trails? Elm Street?
Oh, sorry.
The Boutel.
Oh, Hotel.
Oh,
Okay.
Hill Street.
Yeah, so we would, if our plans come to fruition, we might put a new sign out there saying, letting people know that it's the Battelle area. It would look similar to the Prospect Park sign and the one
Consistent
for
around
John,
the city.
Johnny Rowe.
And
that's it.
And what are your thoughts about that?
Every time it comes, we just.
Thanks, appreciate it.
I see you're trying to get on. I don't want to keep you, but if you have any questions, if you see stuff on the agenda and you have questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me about it. If you want to keep coming, because I've noticed you at some of the meetings. So I just never know what you're coming for, but if you're more than welcome to come to all the meetings if you want, but I just don't want you to be wasting your time.
And
So
you
if
can also
want-
contact Nick directly too.
Yeah, but keep coming if you want, I mean, love it.
You want some chocolate?
No.
Yeah. All right,
Thank you.
thank you, all
Thank
right.
you so much.
Um,
So, greening the gateways.
yeah, so Green the Gateway, so last week, I was working a lot on the municipal partnership grants, which is a grant that the state offers through the Green the Gateway City program, to reimburse, certain industrial cities around Massachusetts for work associated in planting trees. That was for areas within the DCR planting zone for Leominster. A map of the planting zone is on the Green and the Gateway site if anyone's interested, if you're not familiar. But that's more like central, like kind of downtown and surrounding areas in Leominster. The implementation grants is for areas outside of the planting zone. So that would, well, going back a little bit, the partnership grant that I was working on previously, I put a grant proposal together for Main Street. I guess the ice storm back in 2008, there used to be a lot of trees along Main Street, down by the bank over there off of Monument Square. A lot of those were taken out in the ice storm, and there's some smaller trees that have been replanted there, but I put in a proposal for, they're doing some work with the crosswalk bump out. They're doing a couple of things to revitalize down there, so I had that on my mind, and I put in a proposal for planting some new trees, some more variety of trees, because a lot of the trees that they put down there to replace are like smaller cherry trees. They're all the same species, so basically that was my proposal for the municipal partnership grant. Now we have the implementation grant. That's going to be due on February 23rd. So I'll have to submit by then, but it's for up to $100,000. It's for outside of the planting zone, so that would cover the costs of the trees themselves. But yeah, I've been encouraged by the people working with DCR to put as many properties as I can on the grant, because again, it's for outside of the zone, so it's a larger area, larger potential area, and it's for up to $100,000, so we could really like get a lot of trees and stuff in there. So as an example, I have some places around Barrett Park, Fournier Park. I need to get I'm still trying to get in touch with someone from the schools, but I was looking at Leominster High School, Johnny Appleseed, Northwest, Samoset and Fallbrook, Skyview Middle School. Like they all have space for trees to put them in. So I'm gonna be reaching out to these places. I left a message for a contact from the mall at Whitney Fields. I haven't heard anything back, but I'm kind of hoping that I could get some trees put in the parking lot there.
Yeah,
that would be
awesome.
that would be really big. But it's a little questionable in terms of getting in touch with
We
someone.
can get some stormwater infiltration basins down there too.
Yeah, something.
Sweeping willows, I think would work
Well,
good down there.
and possibly remove some of the parking area. 'Cause,
Yeah, so that's
Yeah, replace it with some green space.
yeah. So the implementation grant that pays for everything associated with new tree planting. So the trees themselves, but also concrete removal, like excavation, materials, different stuff. So
Yeah, I think we're just talking about a larger project. It's a good idea, but I think it's definitely a larger project than just this.
Well, that could be-
well, just to increase the permeability.
Right. No, understood.
yeah. Well, they would have to.
That's a great idea.
They would be removing. I'm saying that's in line with this because they would have to remove some asphalt to create new tree pits anyway.
That'd be
So
awesome.
yeah.
I still have a couple of questions. I'm sorry, are you done?
So that's basically the implementation grant. I'm just bringing it to you guys now,
That's
so
great.
you can give me your feedback or
Yeah, I
whatever.
think it's great. I might have missed something. We just keep saying outside the zone.
Yes.
Define what you mean by the zone.
So the DCR has planting zones for all the greening the gateways cities.
Yeah.
Greening the gateways.
So these
cities-
are DEP designated zones.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
and they're
Okay.
kind of centered around the downtown area of each of the cities.
Gateway
Leominster-
cities,
If
right.
you go on Green the Gateway City program
Yeah.
on their website, you can find the Leominster map,
Okay.
and it has
Okay.
everything outlined, so.
I would certainly encourage also, as you get deeper into this, is to plant native species.
Yeah.
Don't be planting Chinese.
No palm trees.
Yeah, yeah, well, no, I'm talking literally like European or Chinese trees
Right,
that don't, they provide no habitat for the native species, no food, nothing.
They do offer some, well, it's a little convoluted, cause, so when you're inside of the zone, DCR provides trees free of cost to anyone
Mhm.
looking to plant inside the zone.
Yeah.
That's also important to know, just for anyone watching or anyone that happens to live inside the zone, you can get some free trees from
I live
DCR.
outside the zone.
Anytime, yeah, it's tough, but you gotta be like right down there, but so with the implementation grant being outside of the zone, this would need to, you could cover the cost of trees with reimbursement from the grant, because DCR is not providing it for free, you follow what I'm saying? So DCR provides a bunch of trees, some of them are non-native, none of them are invasive obviously, but they provide some trees, some of which are non-native cultivars.
No, but even like Bartlett pears, they're
Yeah.
not invasive, but
Right.
they provide no habitat or food at all for native for birds and bugs and worms and all kinds of stuff.
Right, exactly. So I guess long story short, what I'm getting to is that they do offer some trees that are non-native, but it's their preference to get bigger and more ecologically valuable trees out there. That's DCR's goal anyway, but they always have to work with, the interest of the landowner and whoever, but,
Sure.
so we'll see. But yeah, I'll echo that to them,
Okay.
absolutely.
Alright. One thing you mentioned, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is Mechanic Street connector part of the gateway?
It goes down Mechanic Street a little ways, I'm not sure.
I think it stops like where Fidelity is, I was looking at the map.
Yeah, it's not it juts out different places, I'm not sure if that's it, I don't think it is,
I'm glad the landfill is closed, but if we could put like just a row
Arborvitae's or something there?
Yeah.
of aspens or something up in front of them. You know,
I could look into that, I know that they keep it clear of trees mostly
Yeah, well, absolutely.
for the liner, but, yeah, I'm sure but I could see about that, especially down on the edge, like lining the Mechanic Street
Right
connector
along
you're
your
saying.
road, yeah.
That would be a good idea. I could ask about that.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to get in touch with Woodard and Curran about the landfill and getting like some plans so I could see the underground piping and just where all the mess is underneath there. But I'm trying to get in touch with them, so that's where
You
that's
should
at.
be able to get that online.
I've been talking to, because I spoke to someone from Woodard and Curran that was involved with the landfill a few weeks ago, and then that just got buried under
If you,
other stuff, so.
If you email us the address, I can probably get it for you online.
Okay.
I can show you where to.
Okay. Let me, I might just do that. I'm gonna try and get in touch with her again, but if she doesn't, then I'll.
Well, yeah, it'd be probably good to know regardless.
Yeah.
Um,
You have the
in
plan?
case no, it's like public,
Oh, yeah.
if it's like a site, if it's registered with the state,
Mhm.
then all the reports that are done have to be submitted to a place where they can be
Okay.
like pulled out, just like public knowledge.
Right, okay.
Just thinking of the waste
DEP
site.
Solid Waste Division.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how, remember when I was first joining and you had that piece of open space, they were saying like, may or may not have had a PCB issue?
Yes, yeah,
Like Bell Park or something?
yeah.
I this is the website that I went on to like find more information about that and like review some reports.
Okay.
Well, speaking of grants, one thing I mentioned to, and I don't want, this won't be a long conversation, I just want to happen to mention it, but my company does a lot of work with MVP grants. MVP grants are municipal vulnerability preparedness grants from the state. They give out millions of dollars every year to help communities all across the state help plan for and adjust to climate change, as well as hazard mitigation. One of the we're doing a project on John Fitch Highway in Fitchburg because all the flooding in the plaza there. So I would love to see. The Conservation Commission is typically, it's usually like the DPW or the city itself applies for these things, because it costs money to put these things together. But there's millions of dollars at stake. I'd love to see something done with, like you just said, with, the vast acres of now unused pavement at Whitney Field.
Yeah,
Get some of that pulled up, and get some turf or some trees or something in there. That's just something I think we might want to, if that.
I mean, yeah, there's so much space down there
Yeah.
that we could probably go at it from both angles.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Go at it from the
They
tree
have to be
angle and
wetland
then.
species, cause it's all, it's not, the water's not very far below
No.
the pavement.
Oh.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. So I just thought I'd toss it out there, so, again, MVP grants, that might come up in a conversation again in the future. But, is there anything you need from us for this implementation grant?
No, just letting you guys know that I'm working on this, that I'm putting it in by the 23rd. But if you have any other areas around, please take a look at the DCR planting zones, and if there's anywhere outside of there that you think could use some trees, then I could throw it on there. I've been encouraged to just throw as many areas on there as possible, and then if we can't get all the trees, or some of them don't work out, then we deal with that later on. But
Okay.
as far as putting in for the grant, like, I'm just gonna put in as much as I can, so.
Sounds
Let me
good.
know if you got any ideas.
All right. Sir, go.
You just mentioned that, vulnerability, grants. I'd just like in the future be able to explore that more.
Okay. Yeah, it may not come up, but I'd like to. If you're ever talking to anybody from DPW or, I think that's who our clients are in Fitchburg. I
Yeah,
would mention it.
definitely something good to keep in mind as, just like generally speaking, as storms happen and, if we're seeing areas that are hit harder within the city, like that, we know that would be an area to
Yeah,
focus
I
on.
think the reason John Fish Plaza, because every time it rains, you get a foot of water in that thing, because that's where the stream channel used to be. They moved it to put the plaza in. They literally moved Baker Brook about 100 feet back.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of years ago, it was flooded all the way up to John Fetch from that brook, right through the theater.
All right. All right, so moving on then. That's all great, thank you, Nick, appreciate that.
And then just before we do,
Yep.
with the MVP or anything, if you guys hear about any grants or you have any ideas, like, just, I've said that before, I know, but just, if you have any ideas, please, like, tell me.
Yeah, I know I'm not familiar with these grants, but the MVP grants, you need to hire somebody to help you put that.
Yeah, that's a big,
It's a big
I
package.
know that, yeah.
Because you gotta cover all kinds of items.
But
All right.
still, there's big projects that could get done, so.
Correct. All right, I just wanna make sure I don't skip this one. Conservation Nature Walk, Thursday, February 23rd at Prescott. I almost said Prescott. It says Prospect Park.
Yes. So February 23rd, Thursday at 1 p.m. I will be having another conservation nature walk, with the focus being on wetland plant identification in the winter. But we'll just kind of go out and,
That's a good one.
yeah, so and it's a good spot for it, it's pretty wet out there.
How's your winter twig ID? Pretty good?
Pretty decent,
Okay.
for the ones out there. Yeah, I've been walking around.
What time again?
1 p.m. on February 23rd, a Thursday, and that is during our,
School.
during the school break, so.
Yeah, good one.
Hoping to get, I've had one person email me about them and their 10th grader are interested in joining, so I'm hoping to get more youth involved and interested, so.
Good.
So that'll be happening at Prospect Park.
And I'll be in Portsmouth that day, so I can't join you, but it sounds great.
Come on, Chuck.
I know.
I'll have
I
another,
think I can come.
please, you've been good about coming. Well, you
Yeah,
went to the-
I'm like 1 for 1.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I
Perfect record.
Yeah, just the one, yeah, 100% of them. And it wasn't on there, but I will be hosting a vernal pool walk March 19th. I think that's a Sunday, at Lincoln Woods. But that'll be
Yes.
announced at a
Remind
later
us again, yeah.
agenda. Yeah, that'll be announced.
Yeah.
And then I got on that. I'll have walks pretty much every month this year. I'm hoping. So.
Okay. Speaking of which, do we have a list, I'm not even getting from the state, but do we have our own list of certified vernal pools in the city?
You can go on Mass Mapper. Oh, I saw my first berry shrimp today.
Nice.
Yeah, I meant to mention that earlier. I went on a walk and I found the vernal pool and I shined my light in. I found some fairy shrimp. But that was that's been on my short list of things to do as we're getting into the spring. I wanted to go around and certify just to like, for my own education, to fill out the certification form, but also to get stuff on the books around Leominster. I want to certify a bunch of vernal pools. But if you go on massmapper.com,
Yeah.
they have a bunch of data that's on there, and it's a little, you have to dig to find it because there's just so much on there. But there's a conservation tab, and then under that tab there's vernal pool data. You can click that, and then they have all the certified vernal pools in the state. So you can zoom in on Leominster and see where they are, and they have potential vernal pools just from the mapping data where like stuff might be. But then I know from just walking around and then referencing the map that there are vernal pools or potential vernal pools out there that aren't indicated on either of those. So
Okay.
I wanted to go around and get as many of those certified as I can this year. So
Totally.
Is there a minimum size for a vernal pool, do you know?
I think for the certification there is.
Okay. The reason
In
I asked,
reality, I don't
There's
think there really
up
is.
at the Doyle, reservation,
Uh-huh.
at the corner of Route 2 and Abbott Street, there's a wet area that looks to me like it has all the signs of a vernal pool, although I've never really gone walking in there looking for wood frog eggs and stuff like salamanders, but it just looks like a vernal pool, so I was just curious if it might be certified as one, so.
Okay. That's a Doyle conservation.
Yeah, it's on the,
Route 2 might have it.
it's on the side of, it's on the side of Abbott Street with the new buildings, not with the old estate itself, the other side of Abbott Street, down on the corner of Route 2.
That's the visitors center and stuff.
Yeah, it is, it was Route 2.
Route 2 is right there.
Oh, there we go. Abbott, it's literally right there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
So now you found the fairy shrimp,
Yes.
you have to put an ad in the back of a comic book, sea monkeys.
Yeah, right. I was reading about that. I didn't realize they were the same like family of stuff, but they are. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
Alrighty.
Speaking of sensitive receptors, did we say that there, what does that look
What
for?
were we talking about?
Vernal pools.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that counts, right?
Okay. All right. No, please.
I think that the last meeting, somebody brought up an endangered species
Yes.
map.
Uh-huh.
And
That is-
I thought that was gonna come out in an email, did I miss that?
Oh, you did not miss it.
Okay, cause I would really like to be
That
more
is-
aware.
That is also, I believe that's also on Mass Mapper.
Okay.
So I'll send Mass Mapper with a little breakdown of how to find the vernal pool stuff and the estimated habitat, because there's a bunch of tabs with all different stuff.
Okay.
So
So is Mass Mapper a portal to Mass GIS or?
it's its own website. So it's a
I'm
mapping.
sure MassGIS
Yeah.
incorporated into it, yeah.
Yeah. But that's a really good tool to like play around with.
Yeah,
Okay,
it sounded like it, and I agree that it's something that we should, have a general familiarity with,
Mhm.
with any projects that are coming in that are gonna disturb a,
Yeah.
significant amount of space.
Definitely.
Speaking of endangered species, again, I don't wanna go on a rabbit hole here, but I've seen a relatively lot of bald eagles in the past couple of months.
You know what?
In this area, it's amazing.
I had a crazy afternoon. I left and then came back on the way back to this meeting, and I was driving down, I think it was Lancaster Street, past Lowe's,
Yeah.
coming off of Route exit 17. There was a bald eagle. It was flying right towards my car, and then there was a dead squirrel on the side of the road, and it like
Ooh.
flipped down and like dove down and tried to
Sick.
grab something. It was like 20 feet from my car.
That's awesome.
That's lunch.
But that's crazy that you mentioned
I had
that.
one
It's a light
sit-
lunch.
I had
Yeah.
one
It's
a little.
sitting
He
in my,
had to go back.
We'll
I had
see.
one sitting in my maple tree outside my house a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
My wife and I were just sitting looking at it, 30 feet away, sitting in the tree.
That's awesome, they're huge,
Well,
their
we
nests
sure
are
had
so heavy.
a rabbit explosion this past year, so.
That's why they're doing well.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
No, that's lunch.
Yeah,
All right, anyway, I
Then
don't want
that's-
to belabor the point. Okay, so,
All right.
cool.
so moving on, so thank you for all that information.
Yeah.
Nothing under extension permits. Communications, the Mechanic Street flooding update, footbridge removed, DPW unclogged the culvert, that's what I think it was our last meeting we talked about down
Right.
by the Cumberland Farms there.
Yeah, Mechanic Street. So, yeah, you guys remember there was a bunch of flooding, clogged culverts.
Down behind that the current building.
Yeah, so the property management has since gone in and removed the footbridge that had collapsed, so that's gone. And DPW was able to work out a situation with the property owner because it was a privately owned culvert, but they were able to get access through a manhole and unclog the culvert, so the flooding isn't going to be an issue. For now.
As I recall, the flooding was impacting public property, wasn't just,
Private property.
oh, was it private property?
Just private.
Oh, all right.
But I mean, it was a real disaster
Yeah.
back there, it was flood getting up into everyone's house.
Yeah.
The only thing is, the property management group, so they removed the footbridge, and I went in after the fact to look at everything, and I had mentioned this old lawnmower that was like across the brook next to the bridge, that I would like to see them also remove, and that is still there. So I'm gonna get on them about that, but just that's the update as it is, right now, so.
Okay.
Cool. Glad
So
that's
aside
out of it.
aside from the lawnmower, it looks like they did a good job. They did
Yeah, the
an
whole-
effective job anyway?
Yeah, the bridge is out of it, so I don't know how much problems the bridge was causing in terms of backing up the stream, but that's all open now, so.
Alright.
It wasn't functioning, so the junk is out of the water at least.
Okay. Any questions? No.
Follow up on that from last time.
Nothing under meeting minutes, nothing under enforcement, nothing under emergency certifications or budget.
And meeting minutes, just because I updated you.
Yep.
On that situation, just for everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
I know the meeting minutes have been dragging. I had to get back to Michael about, because he has a hard time hearing people's voices, particularly for the votes. So I had to just get him the information for who's making motions, who's seconding them. So I got that all that information to him, but it was like late in the week last week. So that's part of the reason that he didn't have anything ready. But he should have a new bundle ready by the next time. If he does not, I'm officially, that'll be my new focus, would be to find a new clerk. Because he should have stuff ready by the next time. It's been a little while, but that's my personal deadline for it. I'm hoping we have like at least 2 that we can review and get going, and then have like at least 2 per meeting going on since then,
Okay.
until we're caught up. So that's where we're at right now with it.
Okay.
Sorry the minute.
Rich, any comments? No?
No.
Okay.
He's just stewing.
All right. Under Commissioner News, Nick and I just spoke briefly this afternoon just about our desire and intent to develop and implement a bylaw here in the city. Well, we're one of 4 communities that doesn't have a bylaw, something silly like that. I forget, one of very few, I forget what the number is.
Well, there's I think it's 2/3 of the municipalities in Massachusetts have a bylaw or ordinance.
Or so 1/3 doesn't, I didn't think it was that many, okay.
Or maybe it's more like 1/3 have them and then 2/3 don't have. It's a good portion of them have it, and
Yeah.
most of the cities do, and we're a city and we
Okay.
don't have it.
Yeah,
so,
right.
yeah.
Maybe I wasn't thinking of cities. So, nothing much has really changed. I think going forward, Ken will be a lot of help, because they had a bylaw in Lancaster, and we had a bylaw in Falmouth, but that's almost 20 years ago, so I don't remember anything like that.
Just say, what is the bylaw you're?
Oh, it would be good question. Just so everybody knows what we're talking about, including people that are watching. A local bylaw, basically, it would be our own version of the Wetlands Protection Act, where we could potentially, instead of just a 100-foot buffer zone, we might require a different or a larger or small buffer area. One of the things that brought this to a head.
Only larger.
Only larger.
It would be as strict or stricter
Correct,
than
yeah,
the wetland
right,
protection.
Esther, yeah, correct. Well, I won't name the property, but we had a project in front of us where almost the entire proposed project was within the 100-foot buffer. But it was permittable, nothing we do about it, but it kind of didn't sit well with us. So we want to, and plus, as we alluded to, most communities in the state have their own bylaw. But it's not an easy project, there are lawyers involved, DPW's involved, a lot of people involved, so it's not just, snap your fingers. So I know we're interfacing with the Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissioners, because they can be a lot of help. So it's on our wish list, but it's nothing imminent right now. That sum that up.
DEP did not have answer yet on Wildflower, on the appeal?
No, I haven't heard anything, just checking.
So interesting.
Alright.
So anybody else, did I describe the bylaw
Yeah, that's fine.
effectively? Okay, Rich, you got
That's
something?
something else, pass the bylaw if you don't.
Yeah, no, I'm done, yep.
We had mentioned a while ago, that it might be a nice idea to get reflective vests, roadside vests for commissioners, for when we're out there dodging cars. With a city logo and Conservation Commission on it, make us look official. If you look back into that, that would be great. Thank you.
Good one.
Thank you for that, I will do that.
Right. Anything else under commissioner news while we're here?
Well, I think we should get yellow bar lights for vehicles.
Yeah.
It would be helpful though. When I was in the Falmouth Concom, we had just laminated white signs that said Conservation Commission.
Yeah.
We're at a subdivision, we just put it on the dashboard, so just in case anybody came by.
Yeah.
So that might be it.
Right, no, you've mentioned that before, and I
Yep.
need to,
Prioritize the vest, please.
yes.
Of the two.
I have no problem with that
You mentioned it
whatsoever.
first.
Let's leave the vest on the dashboard.
That's a safety, yeah, you can do that too, but yeah, that's a safety issue, so,
Yeah.
All right.
I know, with the bylaw, if you need any specific help with that, I am a huge fan of the concept and would really love to see it happen, so don't hesitate to reach out.
You can, and this goes for anything, if any of you want to make a project your pet project and really like go all in on it, I understand you're all volunteers.
I think this is too important of a project to
I would
delegate
I don't
to
have,
me specifically, but.
I don't have enough time for
But
just,
but helping.
yeah, I don't have enough time for just myself, or especially like something like that where it's big and complicated, so whatever projects with this or anything that you guys wanna like adopt as your own thing and really, work on it hardcore and share with me what you got, then that would be great. So if you wanna tackle the ordinance more hardcore is like,
I do not want to take on responsibility
Okay, no, yeah, that's-
for moving the ordinance forward.
okay,
I don't want to be the central point of that, but if
sure,
you're sort of like, managing that project and there's any delegatable tasks,
okay,
She'll be your number two.
yes, I'm,
Alright.
I'm willing
I
to
think
accept
I
delegate.
think that's the way to handle it.
Yeah.
okay, yes, alright.
Yeah.
I'm not,
You're
Forcing
not
any
getting out of it that
expectations
easy.
on it, yeah, I'm not good at
Alrighty, so unless we have nothing else, the next meeting will be February 28th, 2023. The filing deadline will be February 10th, last Friday at noon. With that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
alright.
Yeah, we ran out the clock up.
Alright, the rest of the commission's vote by roll, so Mike Seekey,
Aye.
Jim Chambers,
Okay.
and Chuck Raymond. Aye. Alright.
Give me a second, right?
Thanks,
It's a wrap.
Thanks, everybody.